There's a study that most people have never heard of. Researchers followed a group of children from age 5 all the way into their 30s. And what they found was striking. The children who reported feeling chronically lonely, not occasionally, not just shy, but genuinely, persistently alone, were significantly more likely as adults to struggle with trust, to have difficulty forming close relationships, to feel, even surrounded by people who cared about them, like they were somehow on the outside of something. Not because anything was wrong with them as adults, but because of what loneliness had done to them as children. And the reason that matters is because most of those children had no idea it was happening. Childhood loneliness doesn't always look the way you'd expect. It's not always the kid sitting alone at lunch. It's not always the obvious outsider. Sometimes it's the child who had plenty of friends, but never felt truly known by any of them. The child who laughed and played and seemed fine, but went home every night carrying something they couldn't name. The child who was surrounded by family, but felt somehow like nobody in that house really saw them. That kind of loneliness is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just settles in, and it stays. Here's what happens in the brain. When a child experiences chronic loneliness, that persistent sense of not belonging, of not being truly connected, the brain begins to adapt. It starts to treat the social world as a threatening place. It becomes hypervigilant, scanning for signs of rejection before they happen. It starts to interpret neutral expressions as hostile. It learns to expect exclusion. And here's the part that's hardest to sit with. Those adaptations don't automatically go away when the loneliness does. They become wired in. They become the default way the nervous system reads the room. Long into adulthood, long after the circumstances have changed. Think about what that looks like in a grown person. It looks like someone who struggles to believe that people genuinely like them, who assumes that friendships are more fragile than they actually are, who holds back in relationships, not because they don't care, but because they're already bracing for the moment it falls apart, who reads into silences, who over-apologizes, who feels like a burden when they need something, who has spent their whole adult life doing the emotional math of how much space they're allowed to take up. Does any of that sound familiar? What I want you to understand is this. None of that is a personality flaw. None of that is just who you are. It's a response, a learned, adaptive response to an environment that once felt genuinely unsafe. Your nervous system was doing exactly what it was designed to do, or protect you. The problem is that it's still protecting you from a threat that no longer exists. There's something else the research shows. Lonely children don't just struggle with relationships. They carry the weight of that loneliness in their bodies. Studies have found elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, in adults who experienced chronic childhood loneliness. Higher rates of inflammation, a nervous system that is, on a biological level, more easily dysregulated, more easily thrown into fight or flight by things that wouldn't register the same way for someone else. A harsh tone of voice, a canceled plan, a message that goes unanswered for too long. Things that feel to your nervous system like confirmation of something it has always feared. I'm not telling you this to make you feel like you're damaged. I'm telling you this because understanding where something comes from is the first step to not being run by it. Because here's what else the research shows. The nervous system is not fixed. It can change. It does change. Given the right experiences, the right relationships, the right moments of being truly seen and staying, it updates its model of the world. Slowly, imperfectly, not in a straight line, but it changes. The clinical term is earned secure attachment. The idea that even if you didn't grow up with a secure foundation, you can build one later through relationships that show you over and over that connection doesn't have to end in abandonment, that you are allowed to take up space, that your presence is not a burden, that you belong here. That process starts with something deceptively simple. Noticing when your nervous system is reading threat into a situation that isn't actually threatening. Noticing when you're pulling away from someone not because they've hurt you, but because getting close feels dangerous. Noticing when you're shrinking yourself, apologizing, over-explaining, asking for less than you need, not because the situation calls for it, but because some part of you still believes that's the only way to stay safe. You were a child who deserved to feel like you belonged, who deserved to be seen and known and welcomed exactly as you were. And if you didn't get that, if the loneliness settled in before you were old enough to understand what was happening, that wasn't your fault. It was never your fault. But you are not a child anymore. And the story your nervous system learned back then is not the only story available to you now. If this landed somewhere deep, leave a comment below. You don't have to explain anything, even just "I felt this," and I'll know. And if you want to keep going deeper on things like this, follow the channel. I'll be here every week.